Back in 2024, Chennedy Carter blindsided Caitlin Clark with a hit so dirty the WNBA had to decide whether they wanted her in the league or not. Chicago cut her. Nobody in the WNBA wanted her in 2025, so she was playing in Mexico and China just to stay on the court. Then she did an apology tour on a podcast, got a shot with the Las Vegas Music Aces, and everyone wondered if she'd earned it. Well, she got her answer when the Indiana Fever faced the Las Vegas Aces on July 5th. The first time Carter has faced the Indiana Fever after that incident in 2024. And it wasn't the comeback story she was hoping for, as Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark's top enforcer, just destroyed her and shut her down. Let's show Sophie some love for destroying Carter down in the comments below. Before we break down how Sophie destroyed Music Carter, let's recall her history with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Carter and Clark. I mean, that's clearly a foul, which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter, I think that's going to be a flagrant one. And June of 2024, Chicago Music, Sky vs Indiana Fever. The ball is out of bounds, the play is over, and Caitlin Clark isn't even looking in Music, Chennedy Carter's direction. That's the part that gets people. Carter squares up, plants her feet, and drives her hips into Clark, knocking her to the floor for no basketball reason at all. No steal to make. Music. No rebound to fight for, nothing. Just a grown woman deciding to put another player on the ground because she felt like it. The refs watched it happen live and called it a common foul. A common foul. The same call you'd get for a bump under the basket during a scramble for position. Music. It took a review, a wave of backlash, and probably a few phone calls from the league office before the WNBA upgraded Music it to a flagrant one. Clark got up and brushed it off, saying basketball's competitive and emotions get the best of people sometimes. Carter, on the other hand, stood in front of reporters after the game and refused to answer a single question about Clark. Just shut it down completely. And then I'm going to give you Music. To give you an opportunity to talk about that moment between you and Caitlin Clark was on that play. What was said and then kind of what led Music to, no question. Did you and Caitlin Clark say anything to each other after she hurt you a little bit? Yeah. Music. I ain't answering no Caitlin Clark questions. Did she say anything to you? I don't know what she said. What did she say to her? I didn't say anything. That's enough. We're good. Chicago didn't wait around after that. Carter was averaging 17.5 points a game back then. And the Sky let her walk anyway without even offering another contract. That's not a business decision about numbers. That's an organization deciding the disruption wasn't worth the buckets. League sources at the time made it clear the locker room environment had been bending around Carter's behavior for a while. And this was where it finally caught up to her. One anonymous executive summed up her market value in a single word: radioactive. And that word explains everything about what happened next, because radioactive doesn't mean disliked. It means nobody wants to be anywhere near you when the cameras are rolling. Every one of the other 11 WNBA teams looked at Carter's tape, looked at her production, and passed. All of them. Silence across the entire league. Seriously, she needs to do whatever she can to get some help, get her anger under control, where she will not have another incident like the one where she slammed into the Caitlin Clark, but she's out of the league. So, in 2025, Carter ends up grinding it out overseas just to keep playing basketball at all. First stop was Mexico, suiting up for Adelitas Chihuahua. Then over to China to play for Wuhan Shangfeng. And she actually balled out over there, averaging 31.4 points a game and winning the Chinese League MVP. Numbers like that would make her a top scorer in the WNBA too. But it didn't matter because the league had already made its decision about her before she scored a single point overseas. Then comes the podcast tour. Carter sits Music down with streamer Neon and finally addresses the hip check. Except this time she calls it a little "I'm here" energy tap and brings up getting elbowed first, a detail that never once came up right after the game happened. She compares it to Jeff Teague shoving LeBron James, like physicality in the NBA. Music. is the same as blindsiding someone off an unrelated ball. And then she says flat out that she loves the hate. Not exactly the tone of someone trying to make things right, and definitely not the same woman who wouldn't answer a single Clark question when it actually mattered. So, I'm just like it's like one of those things like it happens in basketball. I know people try to say, oh, it's not one of those things that, it's not a personal thing. It's a competitive thing. It happens in basketball and like it's one of those things. But like yeah, it's kind of what happened then. It spiraled out of control and the media takes whatever narrative they want to put out. Every single game to see if you can find any deflects in my game, and like there's really nothing that you probably could say too much about. So, then you have trolls, and that's what I said, music. They're going to be around regardless. But, yeah, it was just like a nice little music, tap, like I'm here. Not to harm you or anything. You know, if you want to push somebody, you're going to full force. And somehow, despite all of it, the Las Vegas Aces decided to gamble on her for the 2026 season. A team chasing another championship, needing scoring punch off their bench, looked past every red flag and signed her anyway. Which means Carter's redemption game, the one supposed to prove she'd changed, landed against the exact team and the exact player she blindsided 2 years earlier. Here's the part that should scare every other team in the league. Indiana went into halftime up by exactly 1 point. 42-41. No Caitlin Clark for Indiana, no Aya Wilson for Vegas, and somehow the game still felt like a coin flip heading into the locker room. That's not domination. That's two teams trading shots for 2 straight quarters with nobody able to pull away. Also into the ball game for the Aces is Chennedy Carter, who is one of the front runners for 6th Player of the Year. She is the best scorer off the bench right now in the league. The first half was messy in the way close games always are. Neither team built a lead bigger than 6 points the entire half, and Vegas actually clawed back into it late, ripping off a 7-0 run in the final minutes of the second quarter that erased what Indiana had built. Kelsey Mitchell had 12 at music, the break. Jewel Lloyd matched her with 12 of her own for the Aces, and it took a Lexi Hull jumper right at the buzzer just to hand Indiana that 1-point cushion going into half. Without that shot, the Fever walk into the locker room down. They'll have 6 seconds to work with if they get it here. I would deny Kelsey Mitchell and not let her catch it. She's got it. Lloyd and Young, make her give it up. Hull off the bounce, mid-range, got it. Indiana came into this one off a 7-day break, and Stephanie White wasn't treating it like a vacation. The team used the time to get back to basics after weeks of scrutiny following the Alyssa Thomas incident, and Aaliyah Boston called the break super music. Great because the grind of the schedule usually leaves no room to lock back in. White said the same thing in her own way, saying the team got a great week of practice in and it showed. But a good practice week means nothing if you come out flat. And for one half, Indiana looked exactly like a team that needed more than 7 days to shake off the rust. Nothing in that first half hinted at what was coming. The game was tied at 47 early in the third quarter. Still that same tight, nervy basketball from the first 20 minutes. Music. And then everything changed at once. Indiana ripped off a 21-8 run over the final 7 minutes of the quarter. And Vegas had no answer for any of it. The Aces shot 3 for 11 in the third and missed every single 3 they put up, while Indiana's defense turned every possession into a track meet the other way. Got a fingertip in there. Loose ball and Monique with the hustle play will get Mitchell a clean look and she'll knock down the triple. Kelsey Mitchell is the reason that run turned into a blowout. She scored 11 points in the third quarter by herself. Getting to the free throw line, attacking music, off the catch, putting the Aces defense in rotation until it broke completely. She finished the night with 27 points. Her third straight game scoring 25 or more, and every one of those third quarter buckets came at the exact moment Vegas needed a stop and didn't get one. Coach, what was your assessment of the second half? I feel like it was pretty active. Good showing in the first. Music. Or would you point to unforced turnovers or offensive rebound battle there? What did you see in the second half? Boards definitely hurt us, but I thought we quite frankly ran out of gas. but we looked tired. Couldn't muster up enough energy to sprint into screens offensively. Music. But the O-boards definitely hurt us in the third quarter. Music. Gets to be a compounding effect when you're not getting stops or they're getting second, third, fourth opportunities. It's just super deflating. Vegas simply couldn't buy a basket from deep, finishing the night 4 for 19 from 3. A brutal 21.1% that got worse as the fatigue set in. Indiana out-rebounded them 39-30 for the game, including Music, a 13-6 edge on the offensive glass. And Becky Hammon admitted afterward that the rebounding definitely hurt her team and that they looked tired in the second half. Tired teams don't chase down loose balls, and tired teams definitely don't close out on shooters, which is exactly what let Indiana's role players keep piling on. By the time the third quarter buzzer sounded, Indiana led 68-55 and the game was already decided in every way that mattered. But buried inside that same 21-8 run was a second Music story unfolding in real time. Because every time Chennedy Carter touched the ball during that stretch, something was happening to her that had nothing to do with the scoreboard. Coach, you just talked about running out of gas, but in these second halves where things kind of fall flat for you guys, what are some of the commonalities that you're noticing? Well, in the third, like I said, our offense has to help our defense to a certain degree. That's the fastest team in the league, so far as pace and pushing pace. So when they were either taking quick shots or not good shots, they're just off to the races and it puts your defense behind right away. 0. That's the number sitting next to Chennedy Carter's name on the final box score. And if you're an Aces fan, that number should embarrass you. This is the same Carter who came into the night as the WNBA's leading scorer Music, off the bench, averaging monster numbers as a walking bucket machine. Vegas signed her for exactly this kind of game, too. One where Wilson's out and somebody else needs to fill the scoring void. Instead, she played 15 minutes, put up 2 shots, missed both of them, Music, and walked away with 0 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. That's not a cold shooting night. That's a player who never got the chance to shoot in rhythm at all. Music. Remember who Carter was supposed to be walking into this building. The exact role Vegas paid for was instant offense off the bench. Someone who could get buckets in bunches the second she checked in. Instead, she looked completely disengaged out there, like she didn't even want to be on the floor. And the Aces as a team scored a season-low 68 points with their supposed offensive spark doing nothing to stop it. Number 7 in black. Raven trying to go to work on her. Hines Allen swings it around at Cunningham. Top 5 in the WNBA from downtown. Raven, Sophie Cunningham's assignment tonight was Carter, and it didn't look like an accident. Both players came off the bench around the same stretches all night, which meant every single time Carter tried to get moving, Cunningham was already standing in front of her. This wasn't a coincidence of substitution patterns. This was a plan Stephanie White drew up specifically to make sure Carter never got comfortable. Cunningham fought through screens Music all night, denied catches before Carter could even turn around, and turned Music every single touch into a fight instead of a rhythm shot. That's the difference between guarding someone and erasing Music. Someone. A normal defender contests shots. Cunningham made sure Carter barely got the ball in a spot where a shot was even possible, chasing her off screens and beating her to the catch point over and over. And Cunningham wasn't just playing defense either. She put up 9 points on 3 for 6 shooting from 3, which means the offense came on top of the defensive job, not instead of it. That's the kind of two-way night that doesn't show up as a highlight reel, but wins basketball games anyway. Oh, we saw you guys pre-game, Sophie, and pretty much everywhere you guys go, right? Fever Nation is supporting you, and you guys are giving it back. What's it like to have this kind of environment everywhere you're going, even when you're away from home? Man, I know a lot of teams say that every game is a home game. Sorry, I was just seeing if you got that charge calling on me. But I really do believe that. I think Fever we have the best fans in the worldwide. I really think that wherever we go, it's a home game for us, and so we just try to put on, work hard, play hard, and we just got to work on our consistency. They show up for us. and we need to show up for them. Here's the symmetry that makes this whole thing land so hard. Cunningham became Clark's enforcer the moment the league started letting other teams take cheap shots at music her. And now she's the one shutting down the exact player who blindsided Clark 2 years ago. That's not a coincidence anybody needs to explain to you. Both of these two are in the middle of the 6th Player of the Year race this season. And this game is the argument in Cunningham's favor. Carter's got the counting stats built up from earlier in the year, sure. But a night like this, shutting music down the same woman she's competing against for the award, should carry more weight than any of those garbage time buckets padding a stat sheet in a blowout that's already decided. Wins the tip and gets them the possession. Cunningham, deep 3. Got it. Her second of the ball game. Carter didn't have a bad shooting night. She got erased, and Cunningham's the reason why every single possession turned into nothing. 2 shots in 15 minutes isn't bad luck. It's a player getting hunted off the ball and denied every single time she asked for it. And that's the image worth sitting with. Carter on the bench in the 4th quarter, watching music. Indiana pull away with absolutely nothing next to her name on the scoreboard. What does a championship team look like when its best player is sitting in street clothes on the bench? Indiana just gave you the answer, and it wasn't pretty for Vegas. They're playing their 4th game in 8 days. Cheyenne Parker-Tai is only played 7 minutes in that first half. She's back on the floor, and Boston with her first triple. Boston trying to go to work. Spins away from the double and gets a couple of bounces to go. Sea of Boston's footwork inside. Look, she takes those 2 hard dribbles to the midline, spins away. That soft touch gets a kind roll. Aaliyah Boston went for 18 points and 10 rebounds, shooting 7 for 13 from the field. And the music number that jumps off the page is 3 for 4 from 3. That matches a season high she already set against Atlanta, and it's not a fluke at this point. Boston stretching the floor like that changes the entire shape of Indiana's offense. Because now a defender can't just sag off her and pack the paint. Vegas had to guess all night, paint or arc. And guessing wrong on Boston is how you end up giving up 18 and 10 to a player music you used to be able to leave alone at the 3-point line. That'll be a blast. There has been a Connecticut player on the roster of 21 of the 29 WNBA champions. Snakes in behind it. Smith on the drive. Blocked by Boston initially. Kelsey Mitchell closed the night with 27 points. Her 3rd straight game scoring 25 or more, and she did it in a way that wasn't even about her jumper falling. She shot 7 for 18 from the field, which is under 40%, but she got to the free throw line 12 times and knocked down 10 of them. That's a guard imposing her will on a game through pure aggression, attacking the basket over and over until the fouls piled up. Mitchell off the screen to that left hand. Got a fingertip in there. Loose ball and Monique with the hustle play will get Mitchell a clean look and she'll knock down the triple. Harris will push 3 on 2. Billings leaves it for Mitchell. Good trail triple for Indy. Lexi Hull put up 10 points on 5 for 10 shooting, and both of her biggest shots landed right on the buzzer. The first one came at the end of the first half, a 14-foot floater that banked in right as the horn sounded, and it got waved off initially before the officials reviewed it and gave Indiana the bucket anyway. That shot is the reason Indiana went into the locker room up 1 instead of down 1, which matters a lot considering how tight that first half was. Her second buzzer beater came late, forcing up a shot as the clock wound all the way down and music. Both shots landed at moments where the building either went quiet or went off depending on which side of the arena you were sitting on. Finds Allen shot clock winding down. Hull going to have to jack one. And gets it to go. That's 2 buzzer beaters. The depth didn't stop at Cunningham, either. Monique Billings logged 21 minutes and put up 6 points and 6 rebounds, including an offensive board off Boston's missed free throw that kept a possession alive when Vegas needed a stop. Raven Johnson added 6 points and 6 rebounds as well in 22 minutes. Still green enough to make a rookie mistake grabbing her own tip on a jump ball and turning it over. But her minutes were real minutes on a night that mattered. Boston talked about what the week off music did for this group, saying the schedule usually throws the next game at you within 2 days and never gives anyone room to breathe. This time the team got a real break, and she said flat out she wouldn't trade it because it let everybody lock back in without the grind wearing them down first. Locking in practice looks exactly like what happened in the third quarter. Everybody in the right spot, everybody accountable on defense, nobody waiting around for one player to bail the offense out. Screaming, first dub on the road. Remember the Alyssa Thomas incident from last season music? And the way that whole situation seemed to leave Indiana on its heels? This version of the Fever doesn't play like a team worried about getting pushed around anymore. This wasn't one hot shooting night from one player. This was a full roster, from the starters to the end of the bench, proving they can win a real game on the road without leaning on any one music name. Indiana sits at the 6th seed now, 3 games clear in the standings, and the whole league knows Clark is still walking back into this exact locker room. Final score, music, 84-68 to Indiana by 16, on the road without Clark. And it's Indiana's first regular season win in Las Vegas ever after 11 straight losses there. Carter finished with 0 points on the exact stage built for her comeback. Now Clark walks back into a locker room next game. Boston, Music, Mitchell, Hull, Cunningham, they already showed the league what happens without her. Add Clark back in and every other roster should be nervous. Let's show Sophie some love for destroying Carter down in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications as we're bringing you all the action and top stories. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one.